You're watching RT. Two women suicide bombers have struck at Moscow's underground metro system, killing 36 and injuring more than 60 others. The explosions ripped through the city's subway at the height of the crowded Monday morning rush hour. Well, let's get the latest from our correspondent, Igor Piskunov, who's at Lubyanka metro station, the site of the first blast, and Sean Thomas, who's at Park Kultury metro station, where the second blast occurred. To you first, Igor, what's the situation?
Well, the Lubyanka metro station remains closed to the public, so do all the underpasses connected to the station, and so does the whole line where both of these metro stations are situated. All of that is closed. Specialists are working at the scene. In total, more than 400 emergency services workers, investigators and police have been sent to these two stations to investigate into these two explosions which happened earlier. I'd like to remind you that the first one happened at 7:52 a.m. right here at the Lubyanka metro station, which is in the very center of Moscow. It's just several hundred meters away from the headquarters of the Federal Security Service. It's less than a mile away from the State Duma, and it's also just around a mile away from the Kremlin. It's a really busy area, lots of offices here, hotels, universities and colleges and government buildings. And so as thousands of people were entering this area, the center of the city, these two explosions rocked the city's metro system, which is the groundstone of city transportation. Millions of people take the metro every day, and according to some calculations, over 2 million people remain underground all the time. Of course, they're changing all the time, but over 2 million people are constantly underground, moving around. That's why the metro is such a busy place. Now, at the moment, we can show you the police have blocked the square near the metro station and have organized their headquarters over there. It is this white and blue bus. They're also gathering some journalists and specialists who are all investigating into what happened at that metro station. According to witnesses, the explosion happened as the train stopped at the platform of the station, opened the doors for passengers to walk in and out. That's where the blast happened. That's why a number of those killed, these people were in the carriage itself. This is the second carriage of the train. The others were on the platform. Currently, the number of those killed has risen to 36 people. That's 24 here at Lubyanka metro station, and 13 and 23 others. 13 others at the Park Kultury metro station. The explosion happened 45 minutes after the explosion here at Lubyanka metro station. Authorities now are pretty sure that these two explosions have been coordinated. Earlier they thought that they may have been triggered by somebody using mobile phones, and they started hampering signals for mobile phones. That's why it was quite difficult to communicate by phone in the areas near these two metro stations. Now the main version is that these two explosions were caused by female suicide bombers, and this is according to both Federal Security Service and to Moscow's Mayor Yulia Shapovalov. Let's listen to what he had to say. Alleged suicide bombers, female bombers, how they entered these stations, and also how they were accompanied by two other women. And now authorities are conducting a search operation throughout the city, looking for these two women who accompanied these female suicide bombers. Authorities have also announced that they were able to find the remains of these alleged suicide bombers in these two stations. Now, this was one of the most busiest times for the metro. Of course, these two explosions came as a shock to many of those who were unfortunate enough to witness them and to be passing on through the metro at that time, or even here on the surface, going to their jobs, to their offices. And let's listen to what some of the witnesses who were in this area at the time of the first explosion had to say.
It's disgusting. I don't know who did it and what they wanted. Life is so short. How could people commit such terrible acts?
I feel scared. I'll have to walk to get to work because there is no way I'm going by metro.
I do feel a bit scared now to go by metro. I'm worried for my family, my loved ones. We use the metro every day.
earlier, it was really busy here in terms of traffic. Dozens of ambulances were coming in and out of this area, taking the injured to 7 hospitals around the city. Some of these injured who were in most critical condition were delivered to hospital by helicopters who landed right on this square near the metro station. All of them are now being treated by medics and by psychiatrists, of course. Also, a very disturbing fact about these 2 explosions is that they happened, first of all, on a Monday, which is the first day of the working week, obviously very busy time, and also on the first day of the last week of the fast. So this is just 1 week before the end of the big fast, and these 2 attacks, if they are in fact attacks, would be a real shock to the millions of the Orthodox Christian believers around the country. But I have to tell you, previously explosions did occur in the Russian metro. Unfortunately, this is not the first time that the metro is being attacked. Explosions happened both in trains as they were passing through tunnels, in underpasses. So watching these pictures of rescuers working inside metro stations where everything is covered in smoke, this is not a new for many Muscovites, unfortunately. And as I was driving here myself, I saw scores of people walking from these metro stations which are now closed. As they were walking, I did not see any panic. Of course, people may be scared to get in the metro, but these 2 explosions, if they were caused by terrorists, then I have to say that the terrorists did fail in one thing, and that's cause panic. Because right now, there's no crowds here, there's no people panicking, there's a hotline open for the public so that people can find out about their relatives, whether they're okay, if they were supposed to be maybe passing through these 2 stations at that time.